What is up, guys? Technicals here, back at you, and for another episode of Technicals Complains about cryptocurrency things that no one really wants to talk about. I think it's important that if we're in this space, we are able to address concerns from outsiders, naysayers, so forth, arguments against cryptocurrency, and I know that I've got a notebook full of things that I don't like about cryptocurrency, but as a content creator, kind of shy away from, because people inherently don't want to hear things that put a damper on the space that they're in, so they're more likely to hit that dislike button. But given the nature of the crypto markets currently, risk-taking has come back into vogue. So today I'm going to be talking about two things which I basically disagree with in the cryptocurrency space that are regarded and held very sacred by most people here. Today we're going to be talking about blockchain, the technology, and its relationship to cryptocurrency, and then we're also going to be talking about decentralized everything. On the technicals, let's get into it. Before that, this video is sponsored by Dang Coconut Chips, because until I get a real sponsor, I'm just going to promote things that I like. Link in the description below. So like I was saying, a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space don't want to hear things that make cryptocurrency look bad. To a lot of people, cryptocurrency is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It can do no wrong. Any problems that come up, any naysayers that come about, or even people asking questions that they don't like that force an answer that is against cryptocurrency, they don't like. They try to suppress it. You see the downvotes, you see the dislikes, you see the people being ultra hyper defensive against people like that. It's going to be important, if you're into cryptocurrency long term, to be able to address these things and to at least be able to admit when problems come about and to say, well, yeah, we need to work on that problem. Here's the solution, or that's a problem that we can't fix. We need to nuke this plan altogether. Keep your mind open. So many people closing off their mind and just parroting the same information over and over again. So the first inconvenient truth is blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. The terms are almost interchangeable at this point. People think blockchain, they think cryptocurrency, they think Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency and blockchain are separate things. One does not require the other. You can have a cryptocurrency that's centralized without a blockchain, or centralized with the blockchain. You don't need it. And so a lot of projects that come up like VeChain or Dragon Chain or all these other chains that have to do with supply chain management, that's a great place for blockchain technology to be implemented and used. I think so, absolutely. Blockchain or the distributed ledger would be a great way to track something's progression through a supply chain, or just to verify something's authenticity, like fine art, or something that you want to make sure is actually authentic. However, in most people's common understanding, blockchain and cryptocurrency are the same thing. You have blockchain and it has a cryptocurrency tied to it. You use the blockchain to transmit things, so on and so forth. It doesn't work that way, and it doesn't need to. If a company comes about, like say Amazon or any other company that wants to track something through their supply chain, they could absolutely use blockchain to do that, and they don't need a cryptocurrency with it. I think so many people have it in their head that, like especially when new coin projects come about, that, well, blockchain would be a great fit for this industry, this good thing to disrupt the traditional ways of doing this. But how do we shoehorn in a coin onto this? And they're just doing that so they can make money off of it. They want the coin to go up in value based on this idea where blockchain would be a great fit. The coin, however, is completely useless. And I think that's what we're going to see if ever a company actually wants to use blockchain for its purpose of, for what it could be used for. I think they're just going to dump the idea of a coin. They don't need to have a coin associated with it. They'll run it on their own intranet. They'll run it throughout the internet or whatever. They'll keep it centralized. And that's it. Sure, you could make the argument that, well, because it's centralized, they could edit the blockchain. They could, but why would they? Why would they go through the trouble of implementing this only to sully the results? Why wouldn't they just use their traditional system? Internally, that wouldn't make any damn sense. This expands into other topics for a later date, but the fact that cryptocurrency simply is not needed for most things. You saw this with one of the darling projects that I took on to the channel in the early days, Reddin. I highlighted Reddin. I got involved with them, and I never really gave outright support or anything like that. But their idea basically did not need the blockchain. It did not need cryptocurrency. The idea is a noble idea, but it simply doesn't need cryptocurrency. So it would make sense to me that no one would pick up Reddit, no one would support it, because it's tough to see the link in there. And if they did make the cryptocurrency work with it, it would be forced. And that means that there would be a better way to go about it. So when you're thinking about blockchain technology as it pertains to cryptocurrency, know that those things do not need each other. The second inconvenient truth has to do with decentralized everything. Now listen, If you're in cryptocurrency, then you already know, and you should be able to admit that we all exist in our own little echo chamber. Again, we don't like hearing outside things that diminish or tarnish cryptocurrency in any way. And so you hear over and over again the virtues, the greatness of decentralized everything. Oh, it's so much better when you don't have a centralized authority because they can't tamper with the information. They can't censor you. All these things that say decentralized everything is the way to go. To quote Richard Hart, I know, decentralized is only really valuable in terms of censorship. If you've got a decentralized structure, then you can't really censor whatever you're trying to censor, media or information and things like that. If one node goes down, the other nodes can pick it up. As it pertains to everything else, almost universally, a centralized authority is much, much better. If you look back through history and you look at any dictatorship, they're all universally bad, and they always end up terrible for the people who are underneath that regime. However, barring that, if you look at them in terms of the progress they made towards whatever their goal was, whatever their actual goal was, good, evil, whatever, there's no comparison in terms of a dictatorship versus a decentralized democracy in terms of what they can get done. When you have one person that's the shot caller, things can turn on a dime, they can be flexible, they can adapt in real time with speed that democracies just cannot match. When you have a decentralized structure and you have everyone with an equal say, it's going to go infinitely slow. That's why you see companies, businesses, they all lead up to pretty much one centralized authority who's making those decisions, who can move the company where it needs to go. If you had the company being run by tens of thousands of screaming voices who all have an equal say in the process, things are not going to move nearly as rapidly. Here's another illustration. When you look at quantum computers or these big supercomputers who are trying to model the human body or viruses or space and the Big Bang and things like that, when those things try to model that to find out what the outcome's going to be, they don't spend a lot of time calculating what the best solution to the problem is. What they do is they simulate the problem over and over and over again until they find the one that fits. Instead of thinking about how to do something that would be a decentralized structure, everybody voting and talking and having dialogue and discourse and back and forth, and it takes a ton of time, they just go for it. They do it over and over and over again until something hits and something sticks. This is kind of along the same lines as a dictatorial power versus a democratic power. And so when you look at this in terms of cryptocurrency, decentralized exchanges, decentralized wallets, whatever, I think if you want to move the chains, if you want to make progress, centralized is absolutely the way to go. Now, you're going to open yourself up to a ton of risk. And a centralized exchange could, in theory, shut down, take all your money, and run away with it. Sure, we have other safeguards in place for that. If they're a United States-based exchange, they're going to have to deal with men with guns coming to them and trying to find out where the money went. Will they ever find it? Maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot of risk there, and that's the risk that you're going to have to decide is worth it or not. Take a look at current exchanges. Look at an exchange, a decentralized exchange like Crypto Bridge. As far as I know, Crypto Bridge is probably the largest decentralized exchange. Look at a highly centralized exchange like Binance, Coinbase, any of those large centralized exchanges. Which one works better? If you look at it, there's no comparison whatsoever. Centralized is a dirty word in cryptocurrency. People think that and they think, oh, centralized, that's an evil giant authority. Now, I'd agree. Cryptocurrency, their main goal of it in the beginning was to get away from large centralized powers. I absolutely agree with that, and that's why I like to shit talk people who think regulation should be invited in with open arms. I don't agree with it. However, if you're interested in moving the chains, getting things done, being effective, there's no comparison whatsoever. So open up your mind, think for yourself, think about, is decentralized absolutely critical in this application? Do the benefits outweigh the risks? And if not, then you can make an informed decision on that, whether or not centralized versus decentralized is the way to go. So the point is in all this is when you guys are out there on forums, when you're out there on YouTube, when you're conversing with anybody, stop, take a second, think for yourself. Don't parrot the same thing that everybody's been parroting this whole time. Decentralized everything. Blockchain and cryptocurrency, match made in heaven. It's disruptive. I got news for you. Blockchain technology has been around for over 10 years now, and it hasn't been applied to anything other than cryptocurrency. What kind of crazy sci-fi futuristic grade technology has been around for 10 years and hasn't seen one application yet other than cryptocurrency, the thing it was born along with? I think that's an important question that needs to be addressed, and I think you need to think for yourself in these things. Stop listening to everybody else. Take their information, run it through your own process, and make your own decision. Fortune favors the bold. Make up your own mind and say what needs to be said when it needs to be said. So guys, I appreciate you taking a listen to this video. I'm ready for your dislikes. Take the tomato emoji and go ahead and throw it at me in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think blockchain is the greatest thing since the pap smear? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Pap smear? Check out my highly centralized shop at shop.thetechnicals.io. We got a new shirt over there, just came out. Check it out. I really like this one. I'm a fan of Monero because it's all anonymous blockchains, decentralized technology. Check it out. Link is in the description below. I'm The Technicals. See you next time.